which is right here. And then I need to go to my 1 hour. I mean, I'm sorry, not 1 hour. 1 minute. And let's check for this opening range gap.
Okay, good afternoon, folks. Hope everyone is well. Had a nice, relaxing weekend.
See, we
and ready for some business. So we've had some reasonable movement overnight. I'm not sure what caused that gap down. Obviously, I'm assuming something happened.
Here's a low. Look,
do we blame Trump again or what? 30-point drop. Just, but we recovered it pretty quick, to be fair. So I'm not sure what caused that. So
the market has in store for us.
Friday, just a range day. It wasn't a great day. Did I manage to get a trade? I think I did. Or did I can't remember anyway. I think I had one last week, something like that. But we've got the rest of this gap to fill here, and by the looks of things, I think there's a fair chance we do it today. So, Armanas, how you doing? Speedy, how you doing, buddy? You're early today. So, maybe we got a couple of legs up. We're still in this channel and climbing, so if we can get up to here with a break, we may fill that gap. So, let's just have a quick leg up like that and a leg up. If we get a second leg up like that, it will comfortably get us into filling that gap. All that stuff with Trump tariffs on the UK and various other European countries are all cleared up and been scrapped now, so makes sense that we cover things. We had a couple of big legs up there. Thursday, Friday, mainly were just range days, but this day looks like we may get some move up. So, excuse me, I was looking for a setup on here. We had a channel, looked like a spiking channel down. We had two legs up. I was looking for something a little better than that. A second entry there or something, really, but then it just dropped and then we're kind of down and done. So whether there's another spiking channel there or not, I don't know, but we had two clear pushes to the low and a retest, so this thing could take off. You're going to have there's bound to be, see, even that bar wasn't good. If we'd have broken above it and dropped below it, I may have had a go at that, but there's going to be stops here. It hit a long gear for sure. So with those couple of bounces, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing took off and cleared out some of this, but we'll keep an eye on that. Everything's set up anyway. So let me just make sure, for some reason, there's not enough of a gap between there. So 6 and 3, there's 300 ticks. I want a little bit more than that. So let me just change this, see if it makes a difference. That's better. Okay, there's about 1,000 difference there. That's close enough. So this thing looks like it's continuing up as of yet.
Run up and take that out.
So we'll see how we get on today. Let me just flick over there, mate.
We'll see. Yeah, there you go, Will. If you did tilt, you're in the right place because...
It's all right. I was just watching, you might have heard him talking, actually. I was just chatting with Shalan Winter, actually. I like him. I think he's a nice guy. He's the one that that did a... was it the Trade Journal? Brant, how you doing? You got a foot of snow. I have heard it's not just the snow, it's the cold weather I think you've got coming, haven't it? I think it's minus 20 in parts, which trouble is, snow's one thing, I suppose, but when I mean, you'll be an expert on snow more than me, but once it starts to freeze, it gets rock hard. I know we had some snow. I think we had about 5 or 6 inches in the UK, certainly where I was, and the temperature dropped to about -5, and I mean, literally, I couldn't scrape it off my front window. We just had to leave the engine running and the demister, but it went rock hard. But I know it's causing you guys some problems, isn't it? 8% discount still available. Good question. I don't know. Let me have a check. Is it still? Oh, I probably haven't changed it. Let me have a look. Let me have a quick look. I'm guessing they don't usually leave it for long before they. Apex are in London at the moment. I actually got a message from the guy I deal with, the affiliate guy, inviting me down there to bloody Knightsbridge. Screw that. Knightsbridge is expensive as hell in London. No, we've got nothing at the moment, so I'm guessing it'll be 50% off. So you'll still have the down to $65 usually for about 5 days after, but any new ones now will be 50% off. I'll change that after. Because my pass is still showing. Yeah, it will do, bud. If you, I think it was up to Friday that the offer stood. If you take an evaluation up until Friday, they usually give you 5 days of where they keep the lifetime fee on offer. They need to, really, otherwise it just encourages risk taking, doesn't it? If you want to try and pass it in one go, you're going to take a risk, aren't you? And they can't really be seen to doing that. So yeah, so if you've still got an evaluation, it's usually 5 days that they keep the $65 up. So yeah, you'll be right. You'll be right with that. That might be a little spike in channel there. Let me have a look. Maybe. Maybe not. Maybe it just goes from there. Well, yeah, you would call it a spike in channel, wouldn't you? Excuse me. So, just looking at that angle, actually, I don't think it really makes a difference. Not really. Yeah, they did. Yeah, the companies, prop firms can't really be seen to be encouraging. And if you take it today and you're expected to pass it in a day, it's really encouraging. I know obviously a lot of people do, but they don't really want to be seen to be encouraging risk taking. And to be honest with you, try and make $3,000 in a day on a 50. You can't help but take risks, so they don't want to be seen to be doing that. So yeah, right. Beach Bum, how you doing, buddy? See you there. You don't do Celsius this week, but lows are close to 0. Yeah, I don't know the conversion. I can't remember how to do it. We do in the UK, so for some reason, because even though we're sort of close, I think you guys go more kilometres. We're miles. I think we're more on millimetres, whereas you guys are on inches. We used to be on inches, then we changed. And obviously, you guys are more Fahrenheit, aren't you? And well, Celsius, I don't know what difference it makes. I mean, it's all obviously the same, isn't it? But we always just, I don't know whether it's you guys wanting to be different or us, who knows. But yeah, it's not too bad, actually. It's, where is it in the UK? It's quite mild at the moment. I think where I am, it's about 7 or 8. It's about 9 degrees today, which is not too bad. It's quite mild, I think. I don't know what that works in Fahrenheit, but we had that cold spell where we kind of had a flash crash, for want of a better word. And I think that weather we came over was from the US way. It came over from that direction. Storm, whatever it was, I think. And we had about, I don't know, 5-6 hours of snow dumped on us. You play football with your hands, yeah. Yeah. You call it soccer as well. I don't know where the hell that came from. With soccer, but it's starting to get popular over here. American football is. I know they have some teams over here. I used to watch a little bit years ago. I think the first one I watched was Super Bowl 20. That was in the 80s when I was a young teenager. I think it was the Chicago Bears. Was it the Bears and the New York? Not the Jets. There's another New York team, I think, isn't it? But donkeys years ago that was. I was about 14 or 15, I think, at the time. But cricket's not, a lot of you guys don't know what cricket is, but they did have I think it was the World Cup they had in, the Cricket World Cup in the US. Now, granted, most of the players, even though they're American, were of Indian origin. Obviously, India and Pakistan are a massive cricketing nation. I think India is their national sport. But I like cricket. I'm a cricket fan. I used to watch football, but I got put off it. Something happened. But the thing about cricket is if you play a test match, it can be over 5 days. They play for about 8 hours a day over 5 days. And you don't get the trouble that you're doing foot. Over here, God, there's police everywhere. There's always trouble and fighting and stuff. It's got a bad rap, football has over here. Young guys in their 20s getting tanked up with beer and fighting and stuff. Just put me off. You don't get that in cricket. You can sit there all day and just drink beers and watch the cricket. But it is a different game. When you lose slowly. Whereas football, you can be up 1 minute, down the next, and that obviously creates a lot of emotions, and that's probably a lot of why. So we've just filled that gap now. So, boom, that can go. So I had a sniffing feeling that was going to happen. It's like skiing. I used to love skiing, certainly watching it. But we don't really get any. We never do really well in skiing because there's no real snow over here for it. There's a little bit up in Scotland, but obviously Canada and the US, you tend to do a lot better. Look how that's reacted right off that gap. Weird, isn't it? 3 bars, bum, 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 and then a quick drop. I can't seem to delete this. Oh, there we go. Go. Okay, so gap filled. But I used to love. You get Ski Sunday here in the UK, and it shows whatever's on. Usually places like Austria and France, I think, for the most. Some in Canada, I think. But there's something nice about blue skies, mountains, and snow, isn't there? I actually worked in a ski resort when I was a young lad for a few months. Okay, so around 77 and around 80. 77, 80. Got back. Oh, really? Switzerland. It's stunning, Switzerland. You know, when I was about 21, I think, I got the train from where I lived down to London, over to Ostend in Belgium, and then down through Luxembourg, and through Switzerland and into Austria. It reminded me of like an old World War film, World War II type of film, you know, where the train's going through the mountains and the snow. And it was stunning. I went to Kitzbühel. I spent about 4 days in Kitzbühel. But we had problems getting a work permit there, so we ended up going to France, and I spent about 6 weeks in Val d'Isère, 6 or 7 weeks in Val d'Isère. But Switzerland is stunning. Absolutely stunning. So 80 to say 75.5 to 80. Let's get 80 first. So there are sellers. Maybe a little bit higher. Anyway, there's sellers there above that price. So I think that's where the gap was. So I suppose it makes sense that there are sellers here. So this area here, up until maybe a touch higher, there are a bunch of sellers. Not a huge amount. There's about 400 odd contracts for sale. So love the Europeans. They only yeah. It's great because you got, like you say, you got France and Switzerland and Austria all in that kind of same area. It's relatively close to me. It's probably only about 2.5 hours away, I think. You can drive as well from here. You go if you go down to the south coast, and you can get the tunnel which goes over to France from Dover. But then obviously you got to drive right the way down through France till you get to that kind of area, which is a fair drive. But there's something about mountains, isn't there, and snow. Tell you what, though, having a hangover at altitude, my God, it hurts. First time I got to France, we went out and had a load of beers, and my head was banging. I'd never experienced a hangover like that. But my niece she's been in Switzerland skiing. I think she arrived today. She's just flown over to Japan because you can ski in Japan, I believe. But she's a big snowboarder. She's mad into her snowboarding, so she's been in New Zealand for a while, working and snowboarding, and she's just gone to. I used to do a bit of photography, and I've seen them taking pictures of the snow monkeys. So they do get snow in Japan, but Japan's not really known for its skiing, is it? But I'm guessing there's some there. So that's fitting quite nice. Now, whether it's a little bit more like that, and we've had a break, I'm not so sure. It's fitting kind of nice in there, I say. Small mountains, but is it really? Yeah, there you go. Then that's why I know she landed, I think it was late last night, early hours this morning. Just wondering whether this is kind of bottoming. So we've had a break, 2 legs down, a retest, a push up, but we're below the EMA. But my guess is, be interested to see where this goes. We could have a little bit of a range going on there. Kind of looks possible. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 touches there. A little bit of a breakout. It's hard to say there. I'm not going to trade it. I'm not going to short it. I'm not going to long it either at the moment. We're just going to keep an eye on it. But we've had started up with a couple of legs up, a little bit of this, and then we had that drop. So we cleared Friday's highs. So it's hard to say where this is going, but at the moment it just looks a little bit sideways. So we'll just keep an eye on that. That's in central Germany. It's freezing and snowing. We're in the surrounding areas. The snow is melting. Weird, isn't it? We had about 6 inches in the UK, and literally within a day and a half, it was completely gone. We had a lot of rain, then some mild weather, and literally a day and a half, it completely disappeared. It's amazing how it can completely cover everywhere. I know I got my drone out and had a little fly around and took a little bit of video. But it's amazing. You get a bit of mild weather and it goes as quick as it comes. But I like a bit of snow, I do. It just looks nice, doesn't it? Lights the place up a bit and makes it look a bit nice and Christmassy, for want of a better word. So I know there's sellers there. There's still sellers. There's 200 odd contracts right at the top here at 80, in fact, down a fraction. So we are struggling a little bit here. So there have been some sellers here. So maybe it's still struggling to get up here. I do fancy going skiing, actually, but I've had a little bit of cartilage out of both knees, I have, so I don't know. Skiing's a bit rough on your legs, isn't it? So I don't know how my knees would cope. See, depending on how I put this there is a possibility we could have had a break. I don't think so at the moment. Let me just see if I can get some other opinions. Okay, so let me have a look. Dan thinks it's a break, so let's just put that there and put that like that. That looks okay to me. So a little push up. We touched them sellers, pulled back a bit, and this went a bit higher. So it actually looked a bit neater the other way, but it's acting like a break, this. So let me just see if I can see his chart. Has he upgraded out? For God's sake. Stop screaming! So my daughter's playing a game. She's screaming. So I would say if we've had a break at a new high, second entry long failure might be on the cards. The only issue I have is there are still a fair amount of sellers up here from 77.5 to 80, just above 80. So problem being, and there's more up here as well, so that tells me there is a second entry long there. I'm not going to take it as a failure because there's a possibility we may end up doing something like that. And that kind of looks right to me, or doesn't look terrible. You could say maybe a spike and channel. I wouldn't do either at the moment because it's looking light. Now, that actually doesn't look too bad. The issue I have is there are sellers here and there isn't much space up. Will that work? Possibly, but I'm sitting tight because it's at that crunch point. Do we continue up at a different angle or do we come down? And there's not much space to the highs. There's only a point and a quarter. There's about 2.5 points up to those sellers, that stack of sellers. I think there's 200 odd contracts right there. So it may go up, but I'm just sitting tight here because if we've had a break, you just need to give it a little bit of space. So maybe a break, 2 pushes, or maybe that's not a break. I don't know. But as in 2 legs down, it doesn't look terrible. It's off there, or it's off the EMA. But there's not enough points there. Now this, if I look at this second chart, we've had a break anyway. And maybe that doesn't look terrible, in which case it may continue up, but I'm just sitting tight here. It may go sideways a bit. This is a bit of uncertainty. So this is what Max got it as. So it's more or less the same thing, really. That, what he's got there, is just working in a tier. It's kind of how I originally had it there, because he's got a small break here. So he had it at that kind of same angle. I've adjusted it a little bit. So this is how I had it. I had it as a bit of a spike and a channel from somewhere like that. So if I put that back, yeah, it's kind of similar to how he has it, but he has it as a bottom tier, and what he's done is just stretch that up there, and I'm going to take it, what I'm seeing, he's took it down to the bottom. That may be the case, but it looks a bit odd to me. I don't think you really need that bit. So I'd say that kind of makes more sense. But we've had a break and a new high anyway, so however you have it, I don't think it really matters. Let's have a look at Thomas Wade, see if he's got a chart. Okay, I don't know who that is, but he's obviously seen Max, I'm assuming, and gone. So is Thomas Wade trading today? I can't see him. So who knows? But that kind of would have worked for a scalp. As I say, it didn't look terrible. If it is something like that, then yeah, you know, if I was guaranteed that, then, you know, it would be a place to get in. 2 big legs up. Yeah, I've got it as 2 legs up. I mean, you can do this multiple ways, but even if you had it how Mac had it like that, we've clearly got a break now anyway. So I actually prefer that. And then maybe this is doing this. But sometimes it's not super clear. But for me, if I squeeze that there visually, it looks okay. So it's not an exact science, is it? So if I squeeze that top a bit tighter, that fits there, fits there, fits there. So however you have it there, I've got it as a little spike. We've clearly got a break now anyway, and then a new high. So I think the rest is irrelevant really at the moment. It's just whether we're going to do something like this. But if I'm looking at sell orders, they start at just below 80 and go up to about maybe, won't that work? They start at about 80 and go up to about 81.5 maybe, something like that, thereabouts. So there are sellers here. It's more or less where that gap was. So looking at that CL, leg and leg, be interested to see if we get a reaction here. Maybe it's a bit of a bottoming pattern. It's hard to say. We've had 2 legs down, a pull back, 2 pushes up. Excuse me a sec. So we're going to get a bounce here. I'm certainly not taking a long here just in case this thing's moving down for a second leg. It could be. We've already made a new low and we've had a chance to retest it, but this is clearly clearing out any liquidity, so it could take off here or it could continue down, so I'm just sitting tight here. Little Hammer, how you doing, buddy? Rumo, you're in short NQ. NQ's short, is it? Because the NQ usually follows this or vice versa. Problem is, we've had a break here, so we could have two pushes up and kick into these sellers here, and then it could start going south. It's hard to say, but I used to have the NQ on here maybe a year or so ago, just as a bit of an anchor chart, just to make sure I'm heading in the right direction. And often they can look identical, or off, you know, but they're generally overall going in the same direction. Obviously, taking into consideration shorter pullbacks and stuff. I mean, there is a possibility this thing's continuing down. Touched a couple of times there. I don't know. Who knows? I wouldn't go long here, although I think there's a good chance it gets back to that AMA, but at the moment we are generally tapering down. So channel down, two legs up, two pushes to a new low, retest, couple legs up. Couldn't really get further. We've tried a couple of times. If we'd have had a lower high, I may have had a go at this, but we didn't. We just came back with the pullback and just there was no entry for us. So just there's nothing we can really do with that at the moment. Okay, so we know there are sellers there. That's where that gap was from last week. We do look like we're struggling to get a bit higher there, so maybe this thing might decide to turn now. So depending on whether you got a break here or whether the break's here, and we got two pushes to a new high. So if the NQ is moving down, this is probably not far behind it. But at the moment, the stronger orders I can see are here. But they are sell orders. It doesn't mean it'll just turn down. So much of the time they get absorbed. But if the MQ is on its way down, then that might be an indication. So you can see those aggressive sellers there. You can see the imbalance there. There's about 1 million plus more aggressive sellers there pushing that down. So there's going to be liquidity, two legs down, bull bar. There's going to be liquidity there. So if it starts to get down below there, the thing may just start to go. That's VWAP, isn't it? What's that, about 71? So VWAP's about here. It's hard to say, but we're going to have liquidity there. Or it is going a bit sideways. It could potentially bounce again and have another go up. Who knows? But you can see those aggressive sellers there again, quite a bit larger. Now, that is a second entry short. I'm sitting tight here. This looks like it's trying to either clear liquidity or reverse. So getting in here is a bad idea. It hasn't triggered anyway. And I think a second entry long, I mean, you can recount that a second entry long. That may be a failure anyway. It doesn't look like it's going to trigger. I'm just going to leave that for now. Break. 2 pushes up. So there's bound to be liquidity there, and that's taken that out. So let's have a look. So we've still got sellers at 80 up here. I'm guessing if this thing continues down, these passive orders up here will start to disappear. Interesting. Now, if we get a second entry short here, as tempting as that is, if we've still got those large contracts up there, I would have had to leave that, but that's moving up quite strong. That can change. So these orders are a little bit lower now. They're starting off around about here, and they go up to a little bit above. So not a huge amount. If aggressive sellers sell this again, it won't really matter too much about those. There is kind of a lower high here, but you've got to be a bit careful because there are still sellers up here, so that may still have a little push up. I wouldn't want to be in that long there, that's for certain. A second entry short is looking tempting if we get one. Right, see these orders now around the 80, 81, 82, they're starting to fade. So this to me could go down. Now, looking at this, there's a second entry long here. Let's see if we get a failure on this second chart. I want this to trigger. See, these orders are starting to fade now. It's got to trigger that though. Second entry long stroke failure. There's 2 big bull bars there as well to stop out. It hasn't triggered though. There's still buyers there, I dare say, but it would have to trigger up for me this, and I don't think it's going to. Trouble is, if there is a channel like that, this may push up, but I want it to tick above there. Just going to extend this chart up a little bit so I can see a bit more of it. Go on, tick higher. Okay, now let's see what happens. Channel down, 2 attempts to push higher. See where this finishes. It's starting to stack up a bit now, which makes it a little bit more risky. You're going to have traders going along there without a doubt. But we're not getting rejection. I don't like this. Yeah, it's stacking up a bit now. Nah, that's no good for me, that. It's tempting on this side, second entry short, but this is going to be, there's not much room to the lows. Is this going to come down slightly wider? It's possible. If you look like that, but there's not much room down and it could push higher. So it's hard to say. It could be reversing or it could just be going sideways. The good thing going for it is if you look on the left chart, there's a higher low there. So we've got there's a big bull bar there by a higher low, and both those bars are triggered at the moment. So if it came down, it could have a little push, but the way it's going like this, there's obviously buyers trying to prop this thing up. So this is interesting. So we've got 2 legs down, couple of legs up, 2 legs down. This has just gone up straight, so I can't take a trade here. Because that's just going up, which is a shame, because 1, 2, 3 possibly been a triple test. If you'd have had that type of leg back, it might not have been terrible, but it's just stacking up here now. It's too dangerous to trade here. I'd like to see if we get another leg down, but I'd want it to push up there first, clear all this out, because I don't like this. It's very wicky on this side and just choppy on this side. So if it gets below there, it may have a shove down. It looks like it might. There's just no entry there really on here. You may have a go at that. There is a second entry short there, but it's just a little bit too stacked up for me. Going short into possible bottom, it may just drop for a second leg, but I don't like it because there's just not much room to the lows there. If I got in there, tick below, what is there, a point and a quarter at best? So it's just too stacked up. I mean, look at that. We've had a big shove down there, a leg and a leg, but trouble is, it's not looking nice, this. You can get yourself into a bit of bother here, so I think you're just best off just to leave this. Ben, how you doing, buddy? 2 sideways, yeah, absolutely. I mean, the second entry short did work, but when it stacks up like that, the fact that it worked doesn't necessarily mean it was a good entry. I didn't think it was the worst entry in the world. You can clearly see it's not moved around too much, but this left chart looked diabolical, that did. So the simple answer is there, just to leave it alone. As nicely as it did push down eventually. But so we've had a break here, 2 pushes to a new high or a break here, however you want to draw this channel. But I mean, it could still go up a little more. There's always a possibility. It's not the quickest of reversals, if it is a reversal. There's going to be buyers stops down here, you think. So once it gets below here, it may have a bit of a shove, but I don't know. It's just 2 legs down at the moment, so I'm just sitting tight. Sitting there doing nothing. So that's the reason I never took that. We got a channel up there with a break and a new high. So if you took that for the triple test, triggered you, stopped you out. The only way I'd take a triple test there is if we had that kind of scenario, 2 clear legs. If we had 2 clear legs up, cleared any previous, nice bearish bar, then I may have had a go. But we've had 2 legs up and we've made 1 new low, a couple of retests. We've broken below any liquidity and moved up strong. So my guess is if this thing is going to come up, this is probably going to be where it's going to do it. But there's nothing you can do, unfortunately. So there is that possibility. I would kind of be more inclined to do that. There may be a channel. Trouble is, if we have a reversal, I like to see it a little bit stronger than that. So that's cleared out. I mean, look at that thing. That was my concern. This doesn't necessarily look like a very strong reversal, and look how strong that's pushed up. So maybe it's 1, 2, 3, and then we drop. A big bearish bar there would technically be a second entry short. Would I want to go short there? Not necessarily. I mean, it's having 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts. It may absolutely completely drop. But I'm just sitting tight here. Because if we've had a channel with a break and a new low already, then that channel's played over. So what do we do then? We can't really draw a bigger channel because that ain't going to work. So my guess is this may push up a bit higher. I don't know. Maybe we have a second leg down in it and off it goes, but I'm not ready to go short yet, to be honest with you. There are sellers here. I can see them. And up a little bit higher as well, up to just above this area. So nothing you can really do there. Okay, that has taken out some of those orders. Now, someone has just put this from there. Let's have a look at this. Now, what does that look like? It's not the worst looking channel in the world. So that's a possibility. Let's kill the colour. So it's an area of interest, not necessarily. So maybe that's just a leg down with a correction and a leg down. No setup here, really. You can't take that. Trouble is, look how close it is to the top, so you don't know whether we're going to have one, two, a few attempts, and then the thing's going to decide to drop. So any orders there are now gone. So there are orders starting to pop up a little bit further up at 84-ish and up at 90. I'm guessing we're getting close to that measured leg. Whether that's going to make a difference. Sometimes these things play out to the tick. It's uncanny. Other times they don't. So I mean, that gap has been filled. And we've cleared the last 3 trading days highs. Let me just extend 10 days. All I've got. That should be enough. So we're getting up here, aren't we? So are we getting close? Where's all-time highs again? Yeah, we're not far away, are we? Okay, this is interesting. This is so we've got 2 legs down, push above the EMA, pull back, stop there, big, strong, bullish bar. So that is very bullish, that is. We did the same here, pushed up, and then we pushed up and made close to new highs, but we did there, so we're not far away. And that's pushed up really strong. So where are we? 55 points-ish from all-time highs. So this may continue up quite a bit more today, so we could end up doing something like that, which would take us up very close to all-time highs, literally within a couple of 3 ticks. Interesting. So we'll keep an eye on this, but this certainly looks like it could go further. When it does that. Just had a message from Mac, actually. Let me have a little look. So I think this is from Mac. Unfortunately, my area was devastated by recent winter storms that came across southern states, have no power. Temperature. Ooh. So yeah, it looks like there's not going to be much from Mac. He's in that area. Power restoration could take days to weeks. Ooh. It's not so much the snow's issue, it's the drop in temperatures, isn't it? If you've got no way of keeping yourself warm, that can be a real problem. Let's show a time frame. Several of my properties are buried beneath the downed trees. Good grief. So he's going to have some work on his hands, isn't he? Well, okay. Well, let's hope he's okay and everybody else caught up in that area. Grief. Swept down the side. Yeah, it is. It's the temperature, isn't it? I think you got it at -20. I mean, the most I've experienced in the UK is -18. I think maybe 8 or 10 years ago we had -18. I was driving a truck at the time, and I remember all my airlines, I couldn't get them off. They were all frozen solid. So yeah, it's that temperature. It can be dangerous, especially if you've got no heating. I'm guessing your water pipes could be quite likely frozen as well, depending on... So if your electric's down as well, you know, I mean, if you've got fires or anything that you can light, at least you've got some kind of warmth. But if everything's electric, we're kind of all electric, we'd be well screwed. You just have to kind of wrap yourself up, keep yourself moving. But let's hope it doesn't last too long. So we've had a fair sized move up today. This is looks like we could have a really bullish day today, so we're up over 100 points. That doesn't often happen lately, does it? That quick. NQ has better price action. Too scary for me, the NQ. I have tried trading it before. I'll do it on evaluations, but nothing else. It's just, it moves too quick for me. Scares me. Yeah, I have tried multiple times. I don't get on with it. I don't know why. Thing is, I've been trading the ES for, I don't know, a few months shy of 5 years, so I'm really used to how it works. Okay, just looking at that NQ at the moment, we've had this move down. We've made one, let's call that 2, 3 attempts to push higher, and it does look like, now I won't take this just as a lower high, it's gone too far. We have had a little bounce around that midline, so we just have to keep an eye on this. If we got a nice second entry here, it would have to be nice trapping some longs. It's hard to know whether this thing's going to come down for a second leg. But there's nothing I can do just here, really. Okay, sellers at 90, as we can see. There's 200 contracts there, 100 below it, and 80 above it. So there's about 400 contracts right around this area. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. I'll be a second. Yeah, there's nothing I can do here, and I'm not shortening to the midline. If we'd have pushed down and got under here somewhere, a lower high under here, then there'd have been enough room to the EMA. I've had a go at that. But down here, we've clearly stopped at that midline. So you clearly see the midline plays a part. So it may trigger you and push up. So if I'm going to shorty, it's going to be just off the top. So there's nothing I can do there, really. Nothing I wanted to do there. There was 2 legs down there, but the fact that we didn't get that high, I wasn't sure whether we were going to trigger it and start to work down. So we'll just keep an eye on that. I don't think Thomas Wade's training today. I haven't seen anything of him yet. What is going on here? Are we going to get a lag and a lag? Who knows? It's hard to know exactly what's going on here. Is there something else? Put that there, but I don't like the fact that it's missing all this. And the trouble is, you may get long here and the thing may come lashing down for another leg. So it's just, it's one of those things, isn't it? Does anything look any different here? I think so. Maybe we've got like a leg up with a correction leg up. Maybe this is starting to reverse. Who the hell knows? Certainly not me. There's always that possibility we could be getting something like this. Depends how you've got this channel drawn, really. In all honesty, I'm not even a fan of that channel. Let's just get rid of it. We got something here with a break. Maybe we can keep that in. So actually, that looks okay to me, to be fair. There's your break, a new high, couple of legs down. I don't bloody know, to be honest with you. There's a possibility we're doing that. Who the hell knows? I certainly don't at the moment. Maybe we've got something like that. Maybe we get a little pop up here and then down we come. Who knows? Trouble is, leg and leg we could push up again. So let me just... So 85, there are some sellers a little bit above about there. So a couple of legs up. Trouble is, if that's the start of a channel, you don't want to be having a break before the thing's even confirmed. There's nothing I can do here, really. There's no setup, really. It could come down or it could push up. Who knows? So this is more of an educated guess rather than anything. I just can't see anything else working there. If we have a spike in channel, I don't like all this bit missing. So what I will say is our orders, a lot of those orders up here now are starting to divert south. So 77.5 6.5. There are buyers. Let me have a look. Yeah, which is down here, below here. So we may get 2 legs down. And then there are some down here. So I'd like to see this push down and then pull back and see what happens here. There's always a possibility that this thing come down. I mean, that I will say that channel is pretty steep. It's pretty strong. And it's filled that gap. So perhaps traders are... What are you pestering me for? Perhaps traders are now thinking it's gone high enough. Who knows? So that, excuse me, that's a possibility. We've nearly made that measured leg a little bit short. But then there's a possibility this thing may be coming down, but it's a bit too early to tell. So we have ticked below there. So whether we had any traders that may have been buying there, you probably expect there would be, because we got a little bit of support here. So channel break, new low. There's probably been buyers there, but they've been taken out now. Any stops that may have been there, depending on, you know, where they put their stops. There are sellers now just below 82 and a half. So sellers are starting to come in now below the highs of the day, which telling me we may be getting a momentum shift. If I look down here, there are buyers around about 73 or so, maybe a bit higher, 73 and a half-ish, which is down here. So sellers here, below price, buyers down here. My guess is this may be a momentum shift. Until we have 2 kind of legs, or correction, whatever you want to call it, it's a bit hard to sort of make a really decent decision. But we've got a channel up there, however you want to call the break here, a little bit of sideways with a couple of legs, and then up to a new high. Okay, there are some sellers here. Let's see where this thing goes. So I don't think that is valid now. Just seen someone put that now. Whether that's valid or not, I don't know, but we've, depending on what you got here, we've made a break, we've had 2 legs down and pushed up quite strong, so maybe this thing is going to continue. As I say, if you look at the daily, it certainly looks like it could go up a lot more, so it's hard to say, really. Has to get through this resistance here. Wilson, shush. Now, I don't know whether that is valid or not. We got a couple of kind of examples there. Nick's got that, which is a small break. Another guy's got that. So it does look like it's trying to go higher, doesn't it? I mean, we've had that big strong push up then, 2 legs back. So this thing could have continued down for that, but there does seem to be more call for this thing to push a bit higher. So I'm not sure. I don't know what I think actually, whether that one or something a bit wider. I think I had that earlier. I tried it. I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it, see what happens. Not sure about this. There was the lower high I stepped out of. It was more... I suppose you could argue it for a lower high, but the trouble is you're going to be out before the lows. We're there now, so you don't know whether we're going to trigger it and just push back up and test this again. So I did think we could get a second leg down. Whether there's something like that there, I don't know. I just put it there just to sort of give a bit of guidance, but it's definitely got more down than up overall, isn't it? So there's more of a kind of bullish feel to it. Bearish feel to it. But there's nothing you can do at the moment. We'll just keep an eye on it. Oh, where's my eater? Come on then. Come on then. Oh, hello. Hello. Put your feet there like that. How's that? How's that? There. Oh boy. Good lad. You look decent. You all right, lad? Eh? Get out of it, you. You're going to come down. You're going to come down. Oh, God. Oh, God. Well, this thing doesn't seem to want to stop. So, sellers there and a little bit below 7.5. Actually, a little bit higher. Let's say there. So there are sellers in this area here. So, okay, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break. We're up here at the moment. There's nothing we can really do much at the moment. So, good time to stretch my legs, make a quick cup of tea. So, let me just toggle these off. Okay, I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break, make a cup of tea, and I'll be back. Okay. Let me just get rid of that. Just toggle these back on. Oh. Just make sure they open properly.
Order submitted.
Yeah,
order cancelled.
Okay, I've got myself a whiskey as well. Cheers, everyone. You're long on the NQ, are you? Certainly looking like it's going up. Trouble is, we're finding a bit of support here, possibly. So that makes me think we may end up doing something like that, unless we push up now. Higher. So 2 legs down. Channel break new high. So we've got a small channel up. Break new high. Channel down, break new low. Small break there, maybe break new low. Channel up, break new high. Channel down, break. So I wouldn't be surprised if this comes down a touch. If you say the NQ is coming down, channel break, that may come down. Trouble is, depending on how far it comes down, if it comes down to this area here, it may start to do that. I mean, that is quite a strong, steep 2 legs up. I'll be surprised if it doesn't consolidate for a while. I mean, we're up from the lows over 100 points now, 109 points. So that's a fair old move up. That we've cleared the last 3 days highs. In fact, the last 4 days highs. And we're very close, I think, to all-time highs. I think all-time highs are here. Extend right and lock. I'm pretty sure all-time highs, they were about 50 points up here a bit earlier. So, yes, I'm guessing, were they 50 points up or something like that? So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's all-time highs, 1725 or close to it. Let's have a quick look. It's a really strong day today. You can see it on the bull bar on the daily there. I mean, that is super strong, isn't it? There'll obviously be liquidity up here at the highs. In fact, no, it's a bit higher than that, I think. So somewhere around about there. So we've still got a bit to go yet, but that is a strong day. I can't remember the last time we had a day that strong. Well, I mean, it's not over yet. It could change. That was pretty strong, but the way this is pushed up, pull back, I would have said that that could end up keep on going for some. You know, we're only 50 points from the highs, but we haven't had a strong day. We had that was relatively strongish, but that's a really strong move there. So push up, one attempt to go lower, second. We've had a fair amount of pullbacks here, so we're due for a good strong day. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. So channel break, new low. So we've made a new low there. Now, would I go long here? No, at the moment. It would have to get down here before I even thought about going long. Trouble is, if that's a channel there, we're finding we're losing a little bit of momentum up there. That's if it is how I've got it drawn, which I'm not super sure about. Oh, Thomas Wade's here now, so he's got. Let me have a look at this. So Thomas Wade's got it. Looks like from the lows there. What time was that? 4:05. Oh, literally just. So Thomas Wade's got it there. So I'm assuming he's got that there like that. I think that's about how Mac had it. So let's put that there anyway. I don't think it's the worst looking. And we've got a couple of legs down, a couple of legs up. That's what you have, wait for a new high. Yeah, there's kind of channels within channels, isn't that? But I think I put it like that earlier. I think that's how Mac had it. It doesn't look terrible. It's not a massive break considering the size of it, but we've got channels within channels, so that is a reasonably sized break for that one. So we've got channels within channels, so a couple of legs back. There's no reason why it can't, or whether it just keeps going sideways, or it has another. We've had a couple of legs down, maybe it has another couple of legs down, clears this area, and then a push up. But everything stems to it's likely going to go up further. So I'm not sure whether I like that now. Thomas Wade's got, yeah, he's got this as well. He's just posted it a few minutes ago. So my guess is we could do a little bit of consolidating before we do anything. So we'll have a crack at that. You've got it as an overshoot, have you? Well, it's one of those things. If you bring it down, not that one, but let's get rid of that. If you bring this down, I don't know where, it depends how you've got it really, does it? And if you bring that down there, you put that there, it fits there, doesn't it? You've got a bit of a spike there. I'm not necessarily too concerned about that. That to me looked like it just cleared some liquidity there. Or did it get that high? I think it did just, yeah, it just cleared a bit of liquidity there and had a quick drop, and then it seemed to take off from there. So overshoot, I'm not exactly sure what I think about the top. Matt's got it like that. We're clearly working up in this area anyway, aren't we? And you could say we've had a bounce there and we've pushed out, but I've tried multiple. Sometimes you just can't really get nothing that you like, and maybe at the end of the day things come together a little bit, but I don't know if it looks any different on this. So that's where Mac had it from. That fits okay there. It's not a million miles out, is it? It doesn't. It looks a bit better there. Still not quite as high, but a couple of legs down and a push up. So whether this is 2 legs down and we're going to do this is hard to say. So I mean, it's been a strong move. I'd be surprised if that's all we had and then straight up to a new high. I'd like to see a little bit more consolidation first, before we eventually maybe drop out the bottom, clear this, and then off it shoots again for the second half of the day. So 2 legs down, there's bound. I mean, there was a strong higher low there. So if we had a drop out the bottom, cleared this, who knows? But that's what I think at the moment, just from the way it's working in this area. Just looking at the CL chart, I've just noticed this. We've got a channel down here with a couple of legs up and then a lower high. It's quite a nice bearish bar that I like where that is. But we've already had the move, unfortunately. I don't know how far it's got down. I usually go for 10 ticks. It hasn't made it. If we had a lower high, I may have a go at that, but I could get in here because it hasn't made that full profit. 10 ticks is around about where the lows is. So if we tick below there, it's not a bad target. I kind of like the 2 legs up, but I expect a bit of a pullback once it gets closer to these bottoms. The only slight issue I have with this, if this is a channel, we may be finding a little bit of lack of momentum. It's going a bit sideways with a slight down, so you never know where we're going to have a couple of legs up and test this. So if we pushed up a bit higher and got a nice lower high or a failure or whatever, probably a lower high because we got a double top there. It closed at the same place. So if we got a lower high here, that may not be a bad option because that's holding so far. That's an inside bar, so I wouldn't expect many traders to go long there anyway. So we'll see if we get a reaction at that EMA. But the slight issue I have now, I've got this now, whether it's valid or not, but you can see we bounced a few times at the bottom. We got close there, but now it's more sideways. And we're struggling. We're coming away from that bottom. Well, currently we are. So it might be prudent just to leave that. We've got some kind of, yeah, is this just a couple of breaks out and it's going to rocket up? Who knows? So I'm probably going to leave this. That's not a bad looking bar to me, especially where it's bearish there. It's tucked under that EMA. But it wouldn't quite have made the profit, so but sometimes you do get a pullback before it eventually works.
Order submitted.
I might.
Order cancelled. Order submitted. Order
Getting
failed.
on one account here. I'm just trading one account here, my lowest account. Let's call that a limit order. 2 legs up, big bearish bar. I wouldn't be surprised if it flushes down. There is a bull bar off the bottom there, so I'm going 2 contracts just on this one account, this new account. See if this works. We've got a channel down, 2 legs up. I love where that is. That's where my stop is. So I got in, well, I say a limit order. I got in right on the nail, so we'll see if that pushes down. But I'm not trading all my accounts on it, it's just one. I'm out before that bar there, so we'll see. We've had a little bit of a pullback. I think it's in a good place. You may say 1, 2, triple test. So it doesn't look bad, does it? I don't think. We'll see. So if you put it like that, we've got 1, 2, 3 attempts. Big, strong bearish bar right at the right place there. Now we've taken out a bit of liquidity there, so you may expect a bit of a pullback. But then I think there's a good chance we break those lows. It is losing a bit of momentum, but we've had this strong leg down, so at least I expect a new low. We'll see. But I'm just trading it on the one account. It's low, that one. It missed out on a trade a while back. Just shove it over a minute. I'm expecting this to come down. I think it's in the best place, that stop. It's right above all three of those. Struggling a bit. It's just struggling to go anywhere at the moment. I might just take a quick 100 there.
Target filled.
There we go. It's probably going to come down, but we are losing that bit of momentum. I like the setup. It's clearly 2 legs up. Those bearish bars there don't look any better, but we've gone up and crossed over. There's not... I don't know. I'm quite happy just to take a quick 100 anyway. It's a trade, isn't it? It's just got my lower accounts a little bit higher, so... Excuse me. The second entry short. It's like a point a quarter, isn't it? Something like that. That's interesting. Okay, so at least we got something anyway. Back to 47 and toggle them on. It's only really 2 bounces there, but we've got a couple of attempts to go lower. It's probably going to go up, to be honest with you. We've got sell orders. Sorry. We've got sell orders up here at about 83 something. So there's plenty of space to there. And there's some there at around about 80, just under 88, which is where it is, which would take us to the top. So I think it worked, that one. If we'd have had a decent bounce here, I'd have had a go at that, but we didn't really. That's the first bounce, that's the second bounce. Well, a lot of times we kind of do that, don't we? We have one attempt to go low, a second attempt to go low, and then off it goes. It clearly worked. We've got sellers there at the midline. We've got sellers up there, so it makes sense that it pushes up to the top. Okay, so it would have worked, that trade. I got out a bit early, but it would have worked. I go for 10 ticks on them. On there, I got right in on the nail, which was there. And I would need to get to 11 ticks. Well, maybe I wouldn't. Maybe I missed it by a tick. I'm pretty sure it'll get below there. We'll see. Channel, 2 legs up, or channel break, new high, lower high. Tested it again. My guess is it's going to break below there. It may have got out. It might not have done. In fact, I got in there. So it might have missed it by a tick. Once we had that push down, I'd have been here. But I got in at about here for half of that. A quick 100 anyway. So sellers at just above 87.5, which is there. So we've got a channel there with a break and a new high as of yet. Now, there are a few buyers around about 83, so I wouldn't be surprised if that had a small pullback. In fact, there's about 83 there. There is. It may come back a little bit, but my guess is it's going to hit that level. So, not a terrible trade in the end. If we'd have had 3 clear, that to me may be a test. I don't know. Maybe you class it as I didn't. What I like about it is it's cleared any liquidity. It is 2 clear legs down. And if it does work, I wouldn't be surprised if it's the sort of takeoff point for a bigger move up, push up, kind of a correction, and then up again. So I wouldn't be shocked in the slightest if we ended up doing something like that. So we'll see anyway. There is a failure here, a long failure. There's a second entry long, which is triggered. Trouble is, we're finding support all the way down there, and we've just done it for the 3rd time. And although that may work, we've clearly had a break and 2 pushes. We haven't made a new low, but we've made 2 attempts, so this could come a little bit higher. Now, whether you like that channel or not, I've just connected the dots there at 3. It doesn't look terrible. We've got a couple of touches there, but you can clearly see with that line there, we're coming away. So I think we're losing a little bit of momentum. So I'm just no setups anymore this year. It's certainly been quiet, isn't it? That's for certain. It's not been great. And I've had a quiet, it's been a quiet month for me. December was appalling, but I think I'm at the moment. I'm up just over $7,500 for the month. That's the beauty. If I had one account, I'd be in financial trouble. But the fact is, I'm trading 20 accounts, so I'm up about 7,670, something like that. So one trade this week would put me above $10,000, and this, to be fair, has probably been one of the shittest months I can remember. So if you can make $10,000 on an absolutely crap month, you know, just think what's possible on a good month. That's the beauty of having multiple accounts. You know, you don't have to take a lot of trades. You can sit and wait for some good ones. And when we go through a dry spell, which we clearly have since, you know, a few weeks before Christmas, at least you can stand up and earn something. So we're clearly going sideways at the moment. I suspected we may do. Now, is this going to be a bounce here? My guess is after 2 pushes, this is more than likely going to go up. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do just for the fun of it, because I can see that going up in a line. I'm just going to draw something there and let's see if it works. I'd say somewhere around about there. So whether it ends up doing there or not, who knows? But I can't tell you how many times I've seen a big move up there, and we have 2 clear bounces, 2 clear attempts. You can see we had 2 legs down there, strong push up. We had another 2 legs down, another strong bull bar, and often then after 2 attempts to go lower, this thing then just the sellers give up, and this thing then takes over. So we got sell orders here and sell orders at 90, which is there. So it's always possible these sell orders could force prices down, but after we've had such a bullish move up and the daily looks super bullish, I wouldn't be surprised if this thing just continues up. I can't take a lot of accounts because I never withdraw. Oh, you never withdraw? No, absolutely. I absolutely wouldn't suggest it. You don't want any more really than one account if you haven't made it. As soon as you start making some money, that's the time to start growing. But all you're going to do is lose yourself a lot more money than you need to. But that's okay. That's okay. We've all been there. It takes time. We've all been that guy who started for the first month or first couple of weeks. We've been that guy who's been doing it 2 years and longer. So we've all been beginners at this business. And we all come to the conclusion that it takes us a lot longer. That's what I'm doing for now. Absolutely. Just tick over. Just keep coming back every day and trading. The good thing about trading is it can fit in with anyone's lifestyle. No matter where you live in the world. If you're in the UK and you've got a 9-to-5 type job, you can trade S&P, Nasdaq, and all those up until about 9:30, 10 at night. If depending on where you are in the world, you can trade things like Asian markets. You've got things like the Nikkei 225, whatever it is. You can trade that. Asian hours, so that would be kind of midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning and onwards. You can trade UK markets like the FTSE from 8 o'clock in the morning UK time. So there's always a time frame that you can get some experience and price action. Certainly this style of price action, and I'm guessing most other setups and strategies more or less work the same, whatever you're trading really. So there's always time. Yeah, so you're in the US, so it might be difficult for you trading things like the ES and the Nasdaq because it kind of the same hours that you work. But things like Asian markets might be ideal for you. I think you can trade the Nikkei from midnight, if I remember rightly. I looked into it once. So midnight, so that would be about 7 o'clock Eastern time. So you could trade from 7 to 10. So there's always a time frame that you can trade. And of course you can go back over this and it'll play back in kind of not real time, but it'll play back as if it is real time. You can set the speed. So you can practice. There's always a way to practice. So that's don't worry if you're thinking, oh, I can't trade the ES. How am I supposed to do it? It's working time. There's always a market you can trade. Shall I tell you what I think is going to happen here? We're going to get a bounce here. And this is going to go further up. You think so as well, do you? Yeah, I mean, I used to, when I was working on site, I would work from around about 7:30 in the morning up to 4:30, and I would come back, have my dinner and spend 3.5 hours a night trading this market. Now, my guess is, if we get a lower high here, there may be traders go short here. You're on about fail second entry short. That's what I was thinking about here. It looks like we're going up in a bigger channel here. You're bound to get traders maybe short in that. So a second entry long off here might not be terrible. Having said that, forget the bigger channel. Just call it a spike in channel. In which case, 2 legs back. I'd have preferred to stop out that bull bar because I think that's premature, and then give us a second entry long. I put that there just for just kind of the fun of it, just to see how it fits. I just went with the top of that. You can see though, there's some buyers just around about 82, which is there, which is perfect. 1 tick below that bull bar. That bull bar has triggered, so if it comes down, picks up these orders at 82, there are sell orders at 87 and above. So, and higher, so you've got some scope. Now, I wouldn't, it can be a tricky trade, this, because there's always a possibility that this thing could come down, but I got my sneaking suspicions. We've clearly had 2 strong bounces off the bottom. I can't see, you never know. I can't see this coming down again, personally. technically that is a failure because there's the first entry, there's the second. I'm just not a fan of it though. I wouldn't want to get in here just in case it does come out and take that bull bar out. Let me just adjust this a fraction. Maybe a high or low here. What I like is this bar as well. A doji never cleared these highs, so we still may get a second entry long here or a high or low or whatever you want to call it. Or are we truly ranging? Yeah, it's hard to say. Usually, though, after we have such a strong move up, often we'll range and consolidate a bit. And the fact that we've had 2 legs down and a strong push-up, 2 legs down and a strong push-up, in majority of cases, my experience is that we're likely then to move up. I'd like to drop below this bar here. I'd prefer that to be a bear bar, and it triggers below it, stops that out, triggers a bear bar, stops that bull bar out, and gives us a nice strong bull bar here up for a second leg. I like the fact that we've got 186 contracts, 1 tick below that bull bar. And then the next lot are up here, so there's enough room higher if this pushes down. 5, 6, 7, 8, up to 90. And some, there's plenty of space to get into this area. I'd like this to drop down, trigger that bar. It's slightly more bearish than we pushed up and came back up a bit, but it's slightly more bearish than bullish. There's a bull bar there. That's premature, although it may hold, but I'd like to see this come down, trigger this, stop that out, pick up these buyers, and then push up and close around about there. So there is a bull bar that's triggered and a possible higher low. It's actually a bit lower, I think. See, on this side here, on the left chart, there's a big bull bar there that's been triggered. So if we can get 2 legs down, clear that, and then get a bullish bar, you could say 1, 2, 3 triple test to go long. I'd love to get below there. That would be nice. I think that's too close to the top. It's in the middle of this chop. It may not. It may hold because it's not looking terrible on the EMA. But I would feel much comfortable. And not only that, you would pick up a bunch of buyers below here. In fact, they're a bit lower. They're more likely about there. There is a lower high here, so it would have to touch this and push up really strong. I couldn't take this unless it was comfortably above that EMA and looking super strong. See how we're finding some support there. Look at those wicks. They're all in line. 1, 2, 3. So those orders are about 1 3/4 ish. I'll be surprised if this is happening. We haven't got very high, see, so that would have to be like that, wouldn't it? It doesn't look terrible. Two bounces on the midline. Okay, just give me 1 second. Okay. So I think you can call that a triple test. 1, 2, 3. That would have to be down there, wouldn't it? Trouble is we haven't hit those orders yet. They're obviously a little bit lower. But there are more orders up here. And my concern is these buyers here, they're around about 1.5, I think. But that's pretty strong. I might just sit tight here. We're in this little bit of a tunnel here, I think. We got sellers at 87 3/4, which is there, and buyers at about 81 something. So, got to be a little bit careful. And I'm assuming we've had 2 bounces. This is likely to push up. And in a lot of cases it does, and it may well. But at the moment, I don't like the way that's stemmed back. And if you look at this at the moment on this side, yeah, it's a triple test. We've had a second entry longy that's triggered and price is pulling back. Now, for something in an area like that, I'd expect a move up relatively strong, and it's not. So there's possible second entry long failure here. So this could come down. Now, temporarily, I expect it to, because there are orders there. There are 200 odd contracts there. Now, if it comes down to here below that EMA, it may keep coming. Or it could, yeah, I don't know. I'm just sitting tight here at the moment. So if you'd have taken it on that chart, you may be in a spot of bother now. It may still hold. We may get a higher low. But I'm quite happy to leave this. Never bothers me leaving a trade in the slightest. Aggressive buyers are coming in. I mean, you've definitely got shorts here for starters. Lower high there. My honest opinion is this is likely to push higher, especially after two bounces. But there's clearly a bit of a battle going on. Okay, this looks like the push up now. So I straighten this out a little bit to there. It'll fit a bit nicer there. So, two bounces, push up, little bit of a pullback, trapping some shorts, and I believe this is going to go up for a second leg. Minimum. I was hoping it would pick them buyers up first. Still may do. Once it gets above that bar, things will get a little bit easier then. And bearing in mind the uptrend hasn't made a new high as of yet. It's got close to it. ES is now looking bullish, yeah. Clearly strong move up. 2 legs down, bounce off here, 2 legs down, bounce off the same place. My guess is trapping some shorts here, and this is going to push up. Flush them all out. Looks clear on here. The lower high there. That fairly didn't trigger to push up, but we're clearly working up. We're above that EMA, relatively strong. There's going to be stops there. I don't doubt it, because there's going to be traders trading this as a range. In my opinion, I just think it's a bit of consolidation and part of a bigger move up. So if we get above there, it'll get a bit easier then. There is still buyers just below there, around about just below 250. So let's call it around about there. So we still may come down and have another go. But we can clearly see how many times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've bounced 8 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times we've bounced there. I wouldn't take a higher low here. It's just in the middle of this. It's very tempting. Just don't like going along so close to the top. You can have some stops here, I don't doubt it. Got 3 bounces here, then it's a higher low. We've pulled back to the MA, dropped below it and pushed up. Hello. It's very tempting, that is. It's clearly working along that line. I know you're going long into a bit of support there, but I don't mind taking 2 points. How much is there? To the highs, there's 2 points. Hmm. Possible failure here. At the gym. Yeah, you take it easy, Richard. Stay safe, pal. Careful in that snow. Could take that on the engulfing, technically. You'd be in it now if you took it on the engulfing. We've got an engulfing now anyway, so I can't take it now. Don't think it's the worst trade in the world. Once you get above here, I'm just not taking it. There's not enough room really. Yeah, it does look like it's pushing up. I mean, I put this there about 10 minutes ago-ish, and it looks like we're going to get a second leg. I'd like to get a breakout pullback and trap some shorts in there. Okay, excuse me just a sec. Okay, as I suspected, I very, very nearly got in there on the engulfing, but it's playing out like I expected. Perhaps I should have just trust my gut. On here, I didn't. Well, technically, the trouble is the higher low there didn't trigger. On here, there was a failure. So what I probably should have done was got in there, put it one tick above there, in which case I would have been out now. But you are still going along into support. Sometimes price can just trigger you and just make a meal of you. Come back down, have a flush down. But my guess is that's where it was going to go. We had a triple test eventually, but it's one of those things, isn't it? What I think's going to happen and what I'm confident will happen, can often be two different things. So sometimes you're best off just sitting and twiddling the thumbs. Quick question: can anybody see my my book map? Any idea what that word is? Can you see that? There's like a word there. Just where 9250 is, Carolette or something. I don't know what that. Any idea what that means? Never seen that before. Just around about there. There. So I wouldn't be shocked now if this actually goes up quite a bit more. We could push up quite easily to all-time highs again before the end of the day. So all-time highs are up here somewhere. There. So we're not far away. So we are around about there now. So what are we? 45 points away, more or less. So let me have a look at this. So we got sellers at 95, which is there, which is encouraging. Got sellers at 7,000 up there, which again is encouraging. We've got buyers right now. There's 170 odd contracts right here. Might have been taken actually. They have now, yeah. So there's a chunk of buyers there. There is more buyers around here, which you'd probably expect at the top, so it may have a small pullback. Okay. Now, after we broke the highs, you expect a little bit of profit taking. That makes sense. We've got buyers at quite a bit lower than I would have expected there. 250, which is close. Yeah, below there. So, we'll see. So definitely plenty of profit above there. It's at the fells. Oh, okay. There's always a possibility that we could have a spike in a channel up like that. Two legs down and testing the top of this. Mind you, I'd be inclined to maybe just do it like that. Test this and then up some more. I wouldn't be surprised if this went quite a bit higher. It certainly looks like a really strong bullish day. Mind you, sometimes when we have these bullish days, we have a really big correction. But that looks like a nice correction to me. Yes, it's quite steep, but then it feathers out a bit, pushes up, slightly wider there. So you've got a bit of a correction there. Then you've got a kind of a larger one. So you can clearly see we got one attempt to go lower, second attempt to go lower, and that's where we've took off. We've bounced off the top. You can see there, you're going to trap traders there without a doubt, and we've pushed up and cleared all them out. So that to me is quite a strong market. So there are traders thinking this thing's going a bit higher. We've got all-time highs up here somewhere there. So I wouldn't be surprised if we carried on and got close or even took out those all-time highs. Plenty of time left in the day. I wouldn't be surprised by the end of the day if we hit all-time highs and had a little bit of a sell-off towards the end of the day, which seems to be the norm. So if we had two nice legs back and had a strong bullish bar off this top, I'd have a go at this. Now, you may say most breakouts fail, but that just isn't just a range. It's more consolidation after a big, strong move up. Now, we're not going to continue to do that all day. You've got to have profit taken, and we have a couple of legs back. And this, to me, I know Dan took that. I ummed and ahed about it, but I don't think it was a bad trade to get into. And we've pushed up to the top. We've pushed above there. We've kind of played this range move up. We've had 2 legs back. Look how it's ticked right on that midline and pushed up, and then from there we've pushed up. So my guess is this is going to go up quite a bit more. So all I'm looking for is a little second entry off this. In other words, come down a little bit lower and test this, which we often do. We may have done it. Sometimes it'll just push up, but as that bar there, I wouldn't take, because you're going along right into that top part of the 2-tiered channel. I'd expect it to come down the EMA, take out the early risers there, and give us a nice bull bar here for a move up. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get that. So we've got buyers around about the 8,625, which is there. Perfect. So you can see those buyers there. And then we got sellers at 90, which is a little bit low for me. Let me have a look here. So 95, we got sellers, which is fine. We have got some sellers at 90, which is a little bit lower than I expected, but they might be just selling to ride this down. Now, we are ranging at the moment. And there's always the possibility that this thing may come back into the range. So I'm looking for a specific strong setup, ideally trapping shorts. Because, yeah, it is a range, but it's a range after such a big strong move up. So my gut is this is likely going to go higher. Just now, when I say my gut, just based on what I look at every single day. ES has been trying to reach measured move all day, got 1 point away from it. Yeah. I mean, we're close. We're about 40 points, 38, 40 points away from all-time highs. We have managed to clear, to make a new high, and then we got a bearish bar. Now, after a new high is made, especially if this is a bigger channel, we get to the top, you kind of expect it to come back to the EMA, or at least have a good go. So if we can get a second entry long and a strong bull bar off that bottom, right off here, pushing down and then sitting nice and strong and proud there, I think there's a fair chance we push up a bit. I've had this channel here for the last, 40 minutes, 45 minutes. So that's kind of what I expected after two attempts to go down. I just didn't want it to go up too premature. But look at those buyers now. There's more than double aggressive buyers there, which is pushing that up. I wanted to come down and test this now. Some traders may argue that's enough of a test. But obviously it's only a first entry for me, so now there is a higher low there. Would I want to go long there into the tops? No. If I took a long there, I'd expect it to get stopped out. So my guess is I think there's a good chance we come down for a second leg. See, seeing this and seeing these and expecting that to push off. Now, there's a higher low there. Now, ordinarily, rule of thumb is you don't go long into support. But if you've got a fair idea, you know what's happening, there's no reason why you can't. It looked a bit better on here. There was a second entry short, failure there. So I was tempted to go long, one tick above that bear bar, and if I had done it, would have comfortably worked. And I didn't think it was a bad trade, but that for me was based on big move up, 2 clear attempts to go back, a push up, and you can clearly see we got 1, 2, 3 bounces, so I'd expect it to go up. But what I'm really confident in taking and what I think's going to happen can be kind of 2 different things, so sometimes you're better off just waiting. But later on down the line, another year or 2, and I see stuff like that, and I got plenty of money in accounts, I could think, okay, it is a bit of a risk, but if I think we're going to have a second leg up, it could be, mitigating the circumstances is going to go up, and I could do well out of it. But at the moment, while I'm trying to build these accounts, I'd rather wait for something which I think is almost a cert. And if you wait for good solid setups and you got the direction right, those trades work 98% of the time. They really do. was thinking over the weekend on slowly getting to the stage where I want to start whatever I can take this year. I want to start taking a portion of it and putting it into my own account. The good thing about your own account is you maintain full control of it. You can trade it from anywhere in the world, even ban countries from prop firms. And I think it's natural progression. You start to get to the stage where you're making money, because you never know how the prop world's going to go in the next 5 or 10 years. I believe there's legislations coming and there's going to be more protection for the traders. There's going to be legislation coming in this year, so you expect it, because there's probably a lot of these prop firms popping up one day and disappearing with people's money the next. I don't think you want to take a second entry long here. Well, here, it depends what it's like. If I can see there's a bearish bar there, if we get a bearish lower high that triggers and pushes up strong, then I would have a go. But what I'm looking for is traders, trap traders going short. But I won't just jump in willy-nilly. It would have to look right. So my plan is this year is to just work on these accounts and start funneling maybe, I don't know, 20-30% of the profits into my own account, because ultimately there's no reason why you can't trade prop firms in your own account at the same time. But I wanted to leave my own account until I'm confident and I trust myself that I'm not going to do anything stupid. So that's my plan for this year. Ultimately, having your own account is the ultimate goal, I think. But you shouldn't, definitely shouldn't neglect prop firms, even if you've got. I know some people who just said, no, I can't be dealing with prop firms. I like my own money. But prop firms, especially if you can make money, are an absolute minefield, are an absolute gold mine, rather. For learning to trade, they're brilliant. And if you can trade, absolutely top up. So I'm looking for a really a lower high to bounce nice and strong. So if you look on Bookmap, what I'm seeing here, about 88 3/4, 89. Let's say maybe three points lower, around about there. There are strong buyers there, and there are sellers there, a little bit higher. And there are sellers there at 95, yeah. And there are sellers at 7,000, yeah. So, buyers here for the pullback, sellers up there, sellers up there. So what does that tell you? That tells me this has got more chance of going up. But I would need a decent long setup trapping shorts to do that, and this would be the ideal place. If this comes down, that EMA is going to meet this beautifully. But if traders like this and they think this is going up, they may just jump in early. But Bookmap is telling me the majority of the orders are north of the price at the moment, and that kind of makes sense with the day we got the move up, 2 attempts to go lower. It might just take a bit of time to get above here, because a lot of times in a range when we pull out, we break and come back in. So might be why it's a little bit stagnant here. I feel like a second entry long fell. Yeah, I wouldn't just take any random second entry long. I'd want to be trapping shorts for sure. And don't get me wrong, without Bookmap, I wouldn't even entertain it. But if you look at Bookmap, there's buyers, sellers, sellers, and sellers. So it depends what happens. If there's a lower high and it's congested and it triggers and pushes up strong, my guess is it's going to continue up. So we'll see. I wouldn't just take one willy-nilly. I'll be confident what I'm looking at. So we got a little micro there maybe with a little break. My guess is another leg down, which should be leg and a leg. Trapping some shorts, maybe a lower. Okay, so see this here. We got 2 attempts to push higher, bearish bar. This comes down for 2 legs, traps 2 lots of shorts. It's these buyers, and then I want to see what kind of reaction we get. If you look at the channel I drew 45 minutes ago, touch, working nice, up to the top, 2 legs back, retest this area, touch the EMA, pick up some buyers, and then fingers crossed. Up we go. But the ATR is quite low today, so risk is only going to be 1-to-1, even maybe a bit less. I just hope it comes back, because I can see these aggressive buyers trying to push price up. So, buyers, sellers. You're going to come down though. James, how you doing, bud? I want to trade personal rather than prop, but also want to leave the UK. I'm with you there, pal. I'll meet you in Dubai. I mean, if you can trade personal account and make money, prop firms are a gold mine for you as a second, second way of earning a second income. I get, some traders who may have traded on and off for years and just may have been trading and making bits of money before kind of prop firms really kicked in. But prop firms, for traders who've never taken, who've never used them or taken advantage of them, who can trade, are an absolute gold mine. If you're a good trader, then you can, just for the sake of maybe a couple of $100, you could be trading with $2,500 a drawdown, which is, 10 times the amount. And you just use a trade copy and toggle that on with trading your normal account and just let that follow along. My plan is to take profits and make money from prop firms and keep topping up my my own account and keep whatever I make on my own account. I don't want to touch. I want to keep growing. So, I'll just copy trade that, and at least then I'm topping my big pot up for, I don't know, for whatever, a pension in the future, or you never know what's going to happen with prop firms. I know things like the CME and stuff like that want traders on live accounts because they make money. So they could potentially make things difficult for the prop industry. But on the other hand, having the prop industry does get more traders in, which ordinarily wouldn't have had the financial, wouldn't have been able to financially do it and learn. So, the likes of the CME are going to make money in the future because, the prop firms get people into trading. They make a bit of money when traders are losing. When traders have lost everything and they now start to make money, then they'll be introduced to a live account. That's when likes of the CMA will start making their little cut as well. So much better to have prop firms around rather than not. But like anything, the CME and other exchanges that they want to get their pound of flesh out of you, don't they? So if I look on this chart now, so we got a channel down, we got a couple of attempts to go. There's a bear bar there. We've pushed down to the EMA. Is this starting to move up? Now, I wouldn't get in yet personally, although it may push up. For me, I'd rather get a second leg down and test this area because we got buyers here around about the 50, wherever that is. In fact, they're a little bit lower. 6 maybe, something like that, around about this area, ideally below there. So 2 legs back, test this area, hit that EMA, and then up for a second leg. But I don't want to get in premature. I'd rather wait for that flush down and then catch it if then it decides. I still think, my experience of prop firms have been relatively a positive one. Now, don't get me wrong. my prop firm of choice currently is Apex. I've had payouts denied, but I've been paid as well. There's no way I'd have been able to afford to lose the amount of money I've lost in my own account. It would have been significantly more. So for me, for traders who want some experience of what it feels like, prop firms are ideal. Now, you need that kind of circle of life with the prop firms. You need the newer traders to come in to learn to lose the money. When they start to get an experience and start making money, they need to be paid. When they continue to make money, that's when the likes of Apex says, okay, we'll lump your money together, we'll put it into a live account, you have full control, we make 10%. So they move you from there to there to there. They make a little bit of money out of you, and then you're running the roost by yourself. Okay, so this is kind of what I was hoping. Now I'm looking, so my only slight concern here is there are sellers there before the highs. You can see them, although there are sellers at 92, which is up here, a little bit above 92. There are sellers at 95, sorry, up there. So I'm still hoping that this will push up. Now, I was hoping it would come down 2 legs, clear out any possible liquidity there. I'm looking for real strong rejection now at the top of this. And if we get it, I may decide the safe option is the higher low. So I'm going to readjust this a fraction to there. So up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the top, 2 legs down at the bottom. Now, as we've got sellers there, I need to make sure I've got enough space to go long here if I decide to do so. So 1 tick above there, it's not enough room, so I may wait for the higher low. If we get a higher low, my guess is it's going to continue up. Just 2 legs up. And that could be the case. But what I'm looking for is rejection and for it to hold and start to work up. In which case, I'm not going to take this because although there are sellers there, sellers are below price. So it may well push up beyond them, but it is a second entry long if you like. What I want to see is this to continue up. And if it does continue up, then I may decide to get in a little bit further up. But my guess is, based on what I'm seeing, it's going to continue up. But I'm not just assuming that's going to happen. I want to see proof and I want to see evidence. So this is the area that if it's going to continue up, traders are going to buy from. And if that's the case and it does continue up, then I'll find a way in up here, hopefully. But I'm not just assuming. So don't think I'm just thinking this is a second entry long and I'm going to jump in and it's definitely going to go up. No. I've seen a big strong move up. I've seen 2 legs, 2 attempts to go lower, 2 legs up, and I'm looking for 2 legs back and some strong rejects. If I don't get it, I won't take a trade. Excuse me a second. Okay, so yeah, I'm not just jumping in willy-nilly. This is crunch time for me, and I'd rather other traders risk their profits and give me that direction. Now, if this pushes up, starts to break above this, and then we get a pullback, then I'll start to think about going long. But, you know, I'm not stupid. I understand what's going on. I know we've had a move up. We've had 2 attempts, and we've pushed up to the tops. We've had 2 bounces, and we've pushed up again. Now, it makes sense we come down and test those tops, and then if there's enough buyers in here that like this, they'll push it up. And if that happens, then I'll start thinking about getting in with a pullback up here when I'm, you know, relatively confident this thing's going to continue on up. But we've had 2 legs up. It could completely trigger the longs and come down. You know, I'm aware of that. But from what I'm seeing and what I've seen, you know, 500 times before in a big channel up, 2 attempts to go lower, usually we end up here later in the day, but not always. But what I will say is you are going to have some short stops around this area for sure. So if I look up here, there are sellers just above 92.5, which is there. So you got sellers up there. So there are some traders thinking that price is going to get up. But I'm not getting in here, although the setup's not terrible. Context is telling me just to sit and wait and let others find out if that's where we're going to attract enough buyers. I think this is yeah, exactly. I'm letting other longs get trapped there if that's the case. But what I am seeing is there are orders up here, so I think there's a good chance this does continue up. Ultimate tax. See, with prop firms in the UK, you're taxed as normal income, so you get about £12,500 tax-free, and then you go up to 20%, and then over a certain amount, I think it's over 55, 60,000, it goes up to 40%, and then it goes up to 45% once you get a little bit higher. But if you make your own money trading futures here with your own account, it's classed as capital gains, and that's a lot less tax. But the good thing about trading is if you do start to make significant amounts of money, you have got the option to move abroad. That's one of the few jobs, like, you know, financial markets or business or whatever you do in with them. Same in the UK, yeah. The good thing, see, it's different for you guys in the US. If you move to another country like Dubai, above a certain amount, don't you still pay UK taxes to a degree? I'm not sure how it works. But yeah, so, you know, it's nice to have the option to go abroad. You know, if you start earning $200,000-$300,000 plus a year, you've got the option to do that. I wouldn't even entertain doing it unless I had 100 or 150,000 tucked away, just in case, you know, things didn't work out. You've got to be sensible, but it's nice to have the option if you do start earning significant money. You know, you've got the option to move abroad. So there's kind of a failure there, but it never triggered. Still looking relatively positive, this, but I'm not counting me chickens until they've hatched. My guess is, based on what I'm seeing, it's likely it's going to go up, but I want a little more than likely. So I want other traders to make their mistakes on that, and then if it continues up, then I may jump in at some point further up. Most boring month ever. I agree, Ben. I was talking to Marco a week ago, and he said, what did he say? Let me have a look. What did he say? I said, have you found it tough lately? I've taken 3 trades on the month. That was 6 days ago. He's put very, very tough, wiped out 3 accounts, building a backup, pause on others. Yeah, lights are flashing red here too. So it's been difficult for everyone. It does happen now and again that you get a dry spell, but this is a little bit more than I can remember. But, you know, if in the next month's time we're taking 3, 4, 5 trades a week and things are better, we'll have forgotten all about this. So it does happen, and maybe just, you know, with what's going on in the world and maybe things, you know, people are a little bit skeptical. I don't quite know how certain things affect the markets. I don't understand the mechanics of the markets, really. That's the unfortunate part about being a retail trader, is you're not in the know, really. You just kind of hear second-hand information. All trades, one good day and you're back. Yeah, exactly. You're back to, I mean, I took a long, was it long or short? I took a trade on the CL the other day, and I got to say, it made my night. I felt fantastic. I went out and had a few whiskies. But yeah, it's amazing that I think the bit that struck me most of all about this dry spell is I feel more emotionally balanced now than I've ever done. And you think, great, now I'm finally in the place that I need to be to start making some good money. Everything goes flat. So it's just kind of how it works, isn't it? Sometimes you think all of a sudden now things are going to, now things are going to move up, and before you know it, everything's dried up and there's no bloody setups. But what will be, eh? We still got that kind of area, haven't we? We got sellers here trying to push this thing down, trying to pick a top maybe, and buyers thinking we've got some legs. That bull bar at the end of your purple measured. You know about that one there? Yeah, we should have taken that one. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I see this scenario quite often. Big move up, 2 attempts to go lower. I looked at it. I would have been much more encouraged if we'd have bounced here previously. I know we did, but I'd have preferred a little bit lower. Then I would have had a go. Now, I know Dan took that. And I think Marco did as well. I agree with you. But it's always nicer when you see what happened. These trades sometimes look much better when you know what happened, but in real time, when you don't know what's going to happen, you've always got that little voice in the back of your head, am I making the right decision? That voice is never more strong than when we've had a dry spell. So we got 1, 2 possible triple test here, trapping some longs. It was certainly a possibility, which is why I didn't get in. So let's see if now this thing drops or whether it triggers the failure and then continues on up. I don't know, is the answer. What I will say is that the main bunch of sellers I can see are at 90, which is a tick or two above that bear bar. So there is, if you see those aggressive buyers there, they're doubled on, sellers. Look at those aggressive sellers now, trying to shove that thing down. They just trap. Exactly, that's why I left the long. I know what could happen, but I want to see evidence of it. So if you look on this chart here, if that finishes bullish up here, things may well go the other way. We've had 2 legs back, high or low. But at the moment, because we've had a break and a new high, this is kind of do or die area. And I'd rather other traders take the risks on these areas. I think if we can get above this bear bar here, see, we've had 1 push up, a 2nd push up, 3rd. If we can get above that bear bar there, things will tip in favour of the longs then. Aggressive sellers, you can see these aggressive sellers really trying to shove this down. What do you feel about the UK if Farage gets in? To be honest with you, people can say a lot of things about Farage. I'm not going to say he's great. I'm not going to say he isn't. All I can do is say for the last, I don't know, since the end of the Second World War, we've had a Conservative and a Labour government. And this country is on its knees. I think the NHS is on its knees. I think the illegal immigrants come in, migration is way out of control. It's costing us a fortune. I know we're paying multiple billions a year for foreign aid. Now, I understand that, it's a good thing to help charity, to help other people. But if you can't afford to feed yourselves and you can't afford to take care of your own people, I think you need to start at home. I don't think there's nothing wrong with saying charity begins at home. We give so much money out for foreign aid. Migration is costing us an arm and a bloody leg. It's ridiculous. So I think we need to change. Whether Farage is the one that does it, who knows? But I think sometimes you've got to give. I actually kind of like him as well. He's a trader. He was a futures and a commodities trader. But I don't mind him. I know he had a lot of grief when he started. I think it was when Farage came a little bit more known, was sort of when Brexit started coming out. But you've got to give other people a chance. We got to get rid of that moron we've got in charge at the moment, to be honest with you. Christ, I'd rather have Trump than him, I think. I don't mind him, actually. I think he's okay. He's got a bit of character. He's not afraid to say what he thinks. And I absolutely believe British lives and British workers have to come first. It's the first rule of government. You look after your own people. I watched a little bit of the reform. They had, it was a reform based on military. It was on earlier on. There was loads of servicemen there. If you've spent 20 years serving your country and you've got mental health issues and you can't get a house and you're on the street, a military-age guy that comes in on a boat from Syria has more rights than you do. I think it's absolutely wrong. You have to look after... You've got to look after your vulnerable, you've got to look after your elderly, and you've got to look after the people that fought for the country. You absolutely have to. And I know there are people coming from war-torn countries, but when you come through half a dozen safe countries first, just to get to the UK, because they know we're a light touch, then I've got no time for you. You come from France. France is a safe country. So why risk your wife and your kids' lives on a bloody blow-up rubber dinghy? I've got no time for that. So I think he's the better option. Reform are the closest to Conservatives rather than Labour. They're more on the kind of right, aren't they? Which is why you're getting we're getting 90% of defections from the Conservatives. You will get your I'd always be sceptical about Labour coming over because Labour are more left than right. Conservatives are closer to the right. So if you do get defections from Labour, for me, they're more interested in keeping their job and thinking about their future rather than the country. Exactly. I mean, you need because Reform have never really held a government, they're not going to know full well about, how government works. And that's the good thing about getting, Suella Braverman came in, didn't she? Who was the other guy? The one that was quite prolific during COVID. He's coming as well. So you need some top tier MPs who've held, sort of main cabinet position jobs. But I think Farage is okay. I don't mind him. I know some people say he's a bit too far right. Someone said to me the other day, yeah, but you've got kind of the neo-Nazi far-right nutcases who follow Farage. My answer to that was Fred West, the serial killer, was a Labour supporter. So, does that mean you shouldn't follow Labour? Just because some nut brigade follow a certain political agenda doesn't necessarily mean they do. So I like Farage, and if the polls are right, Farage will do well at the next election. But the next election's about 3 years away, so anything can happen in 3 years. You just don't know. But all I know is, with the way this country's been run for the last 40, 50, 60, 70 years, it hasn't really done us any favours as such. It seems that way, doesn't it? If based on, the polls now, then yeah, he will. But the one thing I like about Farage is he does seem to care about British people, British jobs, British housing. We seem to be slowly losing our culture. And if you say anything else about other people's culture in our own country, you're labelled a racist. There's nothing wrong wanting to keep your culture and your history. I know, I think it was a friend of mine's young daughter that they were going to have a nativity play at Christmas, which they normally do, but for fear of offending other religions, they called it a festive play or something or other. It's ridiculous. It's mad. Crazy, really. You've got to fight for your rights. You've got to fight, people have been paying this country, a lot of ex-servicemen have been paying taxes in this country and fighting for this country for years, and they're lower on the agenda than people who come in on a rubber dinghy 3 days ago. It's so unfair. So, what is going to happen here? Is this thing going to collapse, or is it just going to push up from there? It's hard to say. You have to keep your culture, don't you? You can't say, I'm sorry. That's like me coming around to your house and moaning about the colour of your wallpaper. It offends me. Pretty sure you'd tell me to get lost, and rightly so. So, channel with a break. Eventually a new high. So is this going to collapse? Who knows? I'll tell you what, folks, I'm going to leave you there. I'm going to pop back for an hour later. I think I'm going to get my tea. I'm a bit hungry now. It's 5 to 6 in the UK. So, no trades today. Well, I took one quick trade there, quick short there, and that worked okay. I hate it when it does that. Let's see how maximize. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. So I don't know, who knows what's going to happen. So I did take one small trade on that. I got about 6 ticks, I think. You know, most people are tired of the woke nonsense. Yeah, absolutely. Trouble is that, you know, you can say a lot of things about Trump. You know, he doesn't come over very presidential. You know, he has a bit of an odd way, but he does at least seem to be fighting for American people. And that should be a given when it comes to your president or your prime minister or your government. They should look after local people. So why should people who come across on a rubber dinghy have more rights? It's wrong. You know, especially when people have been paying taxes into the system for years. It's unfair. So there's nothing wrong with saying that. But half the time, if you do say that, now you're labelled a racist. It's just gone mad. That word racist it's crazy, isn't it? Racist should be about intent, not what you think. But it just makes me fed up sometimes. So are we bouncing here? Is this going to push up? Who knows? So I'm going to leave you folks there. So Monday, bit dry today. I got a small $100 on the one account. I wasn't prepared to take a bunch of them. I thought it was an okay trade, a little bit risky, but worth it. It worked in the end. So I will leave it there. So I'm going to go and have a little bit of dinner, and then I'll come back a little bit later. So I appreciate your company. You guys take care. Stay safe. If you're carrying on trading, best of luck. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.